You're listening to Question Reality. Question Reality with Priscilla Leona. Priscilla Leona.
Hi, welcome to Question Reality. Happy Monday. I'm a little perky for a Monday, but that's all right. Mondays are meant to be perky for some people. Rainy days and Mondays do not get me down, contrary to my beloved Karen Carpenter. I love rainy days and Mondays. So, hello, welcome to the Question Reality radio show. I'm Priscilla Leona. I'm creator and producer of the show and also host, along with my executive producer and technical director, Mr. Albert Bico. And we are coming to you live from Los Angeles. Now, I know it's weird. You're seeing a Christmas tree. No, we have not taken our Christmas tree down yet. My husband loves the Christmas tree up. He refuses to take it down. It is like, let me see if I can move so we're not distracted by the Christmas tree. But he loves the Christmas tree being up. He says he loves it up all year, but I think he just doesn't want to take it down. He just does it like that. Again, we are finally back. I had a 1-year hiatus. It was so crazy after COVID in 2020, 2021. I said, you know what? 2022 is going to be my mental and physical comeback year. So I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do all kinds of things to make myself feel fantastic for 2023. Oh, 2024. Woo! I am losing my mind already. I don't know what year it is still. Now, if you're not familiar with the show, for over 20 years, we've been providing our listener with entertainment industry career advice. Now, this show is for you if you are questioning your career reality about pursuing a career in show business, or if you're already working in the entertainment industry and you just want to elevate your career with some tips, advice, and resource information on how and what it takes to make it in the business. So this is the show for you. Tips. And some of the guests over the years, and also this year as well, include Emmy Award winners, we have Grammy Award winners, we have Tony Award winners, and just a whole wide variety of people who are working in the industry. Oh, there we go again. Okay, so there was a logo situation that happened. It's okay. So we have people who are film, television producers and directors. We have A-list casting directors. We have talent managers. We have literary agents. We have authors, singers, dancers, models, musicians. Pretty much anybody who's working in the entertainment industry who wants to come on and give you some help with your career. They are here for you all throughout the year. And on around December, we always bring on an A-list entertainment attorney just to kind of help you out and with any legal questions you may have. That is a call-in show. So we will let you know around October, November to be prepared. And that'll be, again, a call-in show so you can ask any questions. If you missed any of our shows, and here are some of the ways that you can listen to them. Number one, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is at Priscilla Leona, to the profile Facebook page, mine, of course, at Priscilla Leona. The main Facebook page is Question Reality Radio Show on Facebook, and the website, questionrealityradioshow.com, LinkedIn at Priscilla Leona. You're getting the point, right? I think every single week I try to emphasize how branding is so important. So try to keep it consistent when you're starting to do your branding. Just try to keep it, preferably your name, or your product. But when people go to research you, it's very important that they don't have to look all over the place. Don't get cute. No cutie pie-ness with your name. People go to Google, they want to find you, they just want to type your name, and boom, it come up consistently. Now, we ask that when you go to all of the social media sites that you do us a little itsy bitsy teeny weeny polka dot bikini favor, and that is that you like our show if you truly like it. Don't give a fake like. You don't like it, you don't like it, but we know that the guests that we have on, you're gonna love them. So if you could give us a little thumb, also, or if you go to the YouTube channel, if you could subscribe, that would be fantastic. Well, now if you want to be booked on the show to promote yourself and your products, very easy. Just go to questionrealityradioshow.com, which is the website, and all you need to do to submit is it's very easy, very simple. You just put your name, your email, your title, and that's it, and we will vet you. You'll be vetted and petted. Well, probably not petted because it's not PC. I would get arrested, but there are some hot guys that come on the show that I want to pet, but we can't do that anymore. No petting or casting couch. Darn. No, that's terrible. Again, questionrealityradioshow.com is the website where you can also go and look under the schedule, the 2024 schedule, and then you can see the upcoming guests. So, for example, if you're pursuing a career as, say, a script supervisor, we put the name of the person and their title and also their site, so you can go and check it out. And then you might want to just listen to that show because you want to get all kinds of tips about being a script supervisor. And that is it. That is the intro to the show. Hopefully you like that. You know, I've been doing it for 20 plus years, and yet I still cannot remember. See, this is why I never pursued a career as an actress. Cannot remember one line. I have tons of A-list casting director friends. They've been trying to cast my fat ass for years. They're like, oh my God, Priscilla, you need to be on this show. I said, I cannot do it. I can remember one word, maybe a sentence, but when it gets into monologues, oh my God, no, I can't do it. I don't have that gift. I don't know what's going on with that. Now, we, as always, have a very exciting guest today. I am trying to get myself in the center, but I think I'm going to pull a muscle in my back. I don't know what I do. I am the worst person to be, again, could not be an actor. I could not find my light. Where the hell's my light? Where's my mark? What's going on? Oh, you got to find me. I can't find it. But the guest today, see, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about being a star, and then I was like, nope, that's not happening. It's too hard. We have a gorgeous lady on the show today. I met her in Arizona, our very first trip to Arizona at the Show Low Film Festival. I was doing press interviews, I believe. Yes, I went there to do press interviews. I'm also one of the judges and screeners for the festival. Fantastic festival run by Martina Webster and her daughter, Delia. And it happens every year, showlowfilmfestival.com. Check it out. Actually, I think they're accepting submissions right now. So if you want to send your film to a film festival, Show Low Film Festival is the one for you. And it takes place in this lovely part of Arizona in the mountains. And while I was doing press interviews, which I thought I was going to be doing maybe 10, 12 people, Lord, I ended up doing 52 people in 2 hours. I don't even know how I did it. My lips were sticking together. I had gum in my mouth and it was like stringing. My lips were stuck together. I don't know how I did it. But during this process, I was very fortunate to meet wonderful film festival producers, directors, and actors. And one of them was the guest on the show. And when I was interviewing her, I mean, she has, in my opinion, she has the star quality. She's got everything. Mm-hmm. She's gorgeous. She's got the great figure. She's got the hair. You know, one of my big things is hair. I swear that's the whole reason I'm not a star, because I have thin hair. But she's got the Pantene hair, and I kept looking at her hair going, I wonder what product she uses while I'm interviewing. I can do this, yes. But she was so impressive. I said I have to have her on the show. And so we get to meet her now, or you get to meet her now. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Miss Kimber Leigh.
Aloha. I just love you, Priscilla. I love
Look at
you.
you! Look at you with the hair and the Pantene hair and the glow. You've got the glow going on. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, a lot of people think that they have to look like you, who is in the a certain category. You have a certain look. You have the gorgeous factor, but don't be discouraged because some of our best actors have 2 strands of hair. And, you know, you don't have to be drop dead gorgeous like you. Tell us, Kimberly, it's not all about Kimberly. See, I've called you again. Kimber, it's not all about being gorgeous. And how should we encourage people who don't think that they're, you know, in your category to try out being an actor or a model?
That's a really good question. I know one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is you can be beautiful and you can be stunning, but the camera actually goes down into the soul of who you are authentically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are in front of the camera, you are eye to eye. It is making a contact with you. And you can be as beautiful as ever, but when it gets down to your soul, you can turn ugly really quickly.
Yes, it can, Kimber. It can. Now, you are very fortunate, obviously, in your looks, but you are successful in so many other areas. When I was reading your brief bio, I said, my God, does this woman sleep? Does she eat? Is that actually air that she's breathing? How does she find time? Let me just tell the audience a couple. I'm like going to fall off the camera here. Let me just tell them about you. Just a couple highlights. Okay, so we got the beauty factor going on, but did you know that Kimber Leigh has produced over 140 internet TV episodes? She's an award-winning actor, producer of over 40 indie films. You are a journalist interviewing high-profile individuals. You're an advisor to celebrities, business owners, CEOs, actors, producers, models, and authors. Wow, you authored, I already need some oxygen. Where's mine? Authored 2 best-selling books, and your current business activities, which I found fascinating, and I cannot wait to talk about. Your current business activities focus on mentoring men and women on how to enhance their image by showing them how to have the wow factor, which you have the wow factor. And I think you were briefly going to be talking about that. But let's start out with you producing. I mean, how this is humanly possible is beyond me. Producing over 140 internet TV episodes. Okay, so how, number one, what's the process for doing that? And what's the difference between internet TV episodes and network TV episodes?
I've never done a network TV episode, so I wouldn't know the first thing about that.
Okay, so you know no different.
Yes.
Okay.
But for the internet episodes, I was found by a gentleman who wanted me to be the host of his show. At that time, it was called The Animal Rescuers. And we did stories to highlight how important it was. At that time, I lived in Arizona, and Arizona had the highest rate of euthanization of animals. And so my thought was, well, if they're starting to euthanize animals, are we next as human beings? So I wanted to be very proactive. And we did 3 episodes, and we sent it to an organization online. It was called voiceamerica.tv. And they said, send us everything you have. And at that time, we had shot 50 episodes. And I ended up, after the 3rd episode, helping to produce. And then after the 50 episodes had aired, we had shot 50 more. And I produced 50 more. And we had, out of 3,000 shows on their network, we were top rated. So it was a journey that television is so much different because it's not acting. And but I love independent film. More importantly, I just love the fact that you have your own creative ability to have your own input, and you're not being pressured or controlled by a studio or any outside sources. Now, there's no money in that, but
Was that, that wasn't on National Geographic, or that
our
was,
yeah, that was just on internet on
okay.
voiceamerica.tv.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
and
it
they
wasn't like you were being pressured by National Geographic or
you know,
any of those.
yeah, we probably could have gone that far, but because when you're doing it alone, you're wearing all the hats, just like you are right now, Priscilla. So you know how difficult it is. So the last thing in the world that I had time for was then getting a network to pick it up, because I was a one woman band like you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's like you have to be accounts receivable, accounts payable, producer, director. It's very hard. People don't know. They just think, oh, you're just there. But a lot of people don't think about the behind the scenes process. And this isn't even on a studio level, like a network studio. They will pressure the hell. You'll have a heart attack pretty soon if you have that much pressure. But that's why they can afford other people to help you. Now, you are an award-winning actor and producer of over 40 independent films. You know, people have a hard time getting one indie film out. So my question is, how have you been able to do so many? What are some tips for getting an indie film produced? One of the complaints that most people have is funding. So let's talk about that.
Okay, so I'm not 20, so I have the longevity to have done 40 over a lifespan. So let's be clear about that.
You don't look a day over 18, girl. That's why I'm just mystified.
I love you even more now. So for funding, if I've realized when I started out that in order to make a film, I have to fund the film if I want it made.
Yes.
And there are avenues and outlets out there like the GoFundMe's, and back in maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was really easy to ask for $5,000, $10,000 and get it. But it is possible to make a really entertaining, successful film on a very low budget. As long as you know what you're doing, and having a mentor to help you with that, because the millions and millions of dollars they spend, and I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying that that's great that you have the ability to do that. I still think it's highly unnecessary.
Yes.
When you do a film and you want it funded, you go to your family, you go to your friends, you go to resources that are available. But for me personally, I don't like asking people for money, so I fund my own projects.
Right.
And I help others who I'm working with. I will contribute to something to help them out, as far as whether that's giving entry money for film festivals, but always help out, because you know how painful it is. So it's easy to help others.
Right. And funding is the most difficult thing, obviously. But what happens, a big mistake, and if you could talk about this a little bit, a big mistake that first-time filmmakers make is that they may get a bunch of money, and then they don't know how to equally distribute it to get the film made. And a lot of times what happens that I hear about is that they start the project, they run out of money halfway through. It either never gets finished or it takes forever for them to restart it again. And lots of things have changed, such as the main actor or actress is no longer available. So what are some tips for them as far as knowing how to do a budget? My recommendation is always know a little bit about show business. It's called show business. You got to know a little bit about business, like how to do a budget. Very, very important. But what they also forget is that after the film is made, there is a whole bunch of stuff you have to do with post-production, including having money for film festivals, yes, and a lot of post-production stuff that they don't factor in. So
I think one of the biggest things besides all of the money and everything that you talked about is if you don't have the number one thing, which is called passion, please don't make a film, because passionate people will complete it. When you're doing it for an ego reason,
yes,
don't make that film, because it won't get finished. And surround yourself with other passionate people and people who know more than you do.
Right. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I don't know if you've run across this, but this happens a lot in LA. A lot of people just start a film so they can get their credit on IMDb. They run out of money. It never gets made. The poor actors, the cast and crew, they never get anything out of it. But the particular person who wanted their credit, they get their credit and it stays in production status or post-production status. That is such a big pet peeve of mine. And it falls into the category you just said. You've got to have the passion to do it. If you do, you're going to find a way to get it done. But if you're not, you'll just be like, moving on to the next project. And they do that a lot, Kimber.
Yes, it happened to me in the beginning of my career, but I realized quickly, I just want to say this, my mentor always says to me that time is so much more valuable than money, because when you spend your money, you can always make more. When you spend your time, you never get that back. Well, these actors that are spending their time on sets to have nothing to show for it it's just awful. So passionate people are needed, but also too to realize that filmmaking is an art. It's an art form.
Yes.
And you're doing it to create something.
Right.
And it's like your baby, Priscilla, if you write a book, make a movie, whatever it is you're doing, this is your baby.
Yeah.
And if you love your baby,
you're
going to feed it all the way till the end, right?
I love that. Feed it to the end. Yes, I love that. May I use that in the future?
You may take anything.
I love it. Now, you are, of all things, a journalist. So you interview high-profile individuals. So my first question is, have you always been a journalist? I mean, is that where your education lies? Did you go to school for that? Or how did you become a journalist, I guess?
A very cool moment in my life. I was at the AZ Fame Film Festival back in, let me see here, 2011. I had to look at the trophy. And a good friend of mine at that time, Ed Sharp, came up to me. He worked for the plant, I think it was called the Daily Planet. It was a journalistic outlet. And he walked up to me, first time meeting him in person, and he handed me a microphone and he goes, "You're an actor." He goes, "Here, interview people and act like you know what you're doing." And so I interviewed a high-profile individual who was trying to make the tax credit incentives for independent filmmakers for Arizona. And I just asked him real questions that I thought I would want to know about tax incentives. And I won a Telly Award. So everything in my life that I have done, I am self-taught, and it has been serendipitous. I just end up in the right place at the right time.
Isn't that amazing? That happens to people. That is not something that is a big mystery. How did they do it? It happens. I don't know how. It's just your path in life. Some people are just meant. When I met Johnny Depp a long time ago, he was his vocal coach. He was doing a movie called Cry Baby, and his vocal coach Ed Coupe was dating my friend, my roommate at the time. So we ended up meeting him by going to the rap party for Cry Baby, and we were talking to him about. I said, "Well, how now?" Mind you, my roommate was obsessed with Johnny Depp. He was doing 21 Jump Street at the time. I watched it once. It wasn't really my type of show. But when I met him, all of a sudden, like you, I just had so many questions. I'm not a person who gets starstruck by anyone. I have tons of celebrity friends. And the reason I'm able to keep them is because I just don't care if they're celebrities or not. I'm more interested in finding out what they do and how they do it rather than who they are. But I was asking him all these questions. And so he was telling me his mom, her name is Betty Sue, she said, in life, you're either going to make it or you're not. Your path has already been laid out for you. So you are going to become an A-list actor. He had no interest in being an actor at all. He was a musician. He wanted to be a musician, and he came out here. I won't get into the whole story, but he did not have any interest in being an actor, right? And all of a sudden, he goes to a party, meets Nicolas Cage, the casting director is there, and next thing you know, he's an actor, right? And he said he couldn't believe it. And his mom said, you're either going to do it or you're not. So people who stress out a lot, like, oh my God, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. Well, I often wonder if because they're doing that, is that part of what's written in the stars for them? Or are they forcing themselves into being like that because they feel like they have to do it? That's always been a thought. What do you think?
I believe that the universe has a plan for you. And when you open up your heart and your energy, things happen serendipitously. I always tell my kids, don't look for a partner. The partner will come to you. Yeah. Don't look for the acting role. The acting role will find you. And so if you're out there and you're beating your head against the wall and trying so hard, you're hitting resistance, and resistance will stop you from moving forward.
Right. Now, do you think, because I've often thought this, Simon Cowell, I just love this man, even though he's, hardcore and tells it like it is and he's rude to people. A lot of what he said, my friend Michael Orland is the musical director, or was the musical director for American Idol. And for those of you who don't know, and you should know who Simon Cowell is, but he's one of the judges on American Idol. And I will never forget one of the things he said to someone, because a lot of people who come on American Idol, and that's just music, I'm just using this example, but they would come on and God bless them, they would sing and they believed in their heart and soul and mind that they were the best singer in the world. And we as an audience would be listening, and we know that is not the right career for them. But their parents and their family and friends just kind of scoot them on. Oh, you're so good, or you're best. Worst advice ever to tell people if you know they're not good. It's bad advice. But yet you don't want to tell someone that they're not meant for this profession. But Simon would always say, you know what? I'll never forget. He said, did you have a vocal coach when you started out singing? And the girl was so happy. She's like, oh yes, I studied with, he said, don't tell me the name. He said, because if you tell me the name, I'm going to try to sue him, because you should not be singing. You shouldn't even whistle. And he was harsh, but he would bring the true reality. And it often, Kimber, I think, when you meet people, as I do at many different parties and events and stuff, And then they want you to look at their demo reel, and so Kimber, within 5 seconds whether someone is meant to be doing this, an actor or a singer or a dancer or a model. You just know. Do you feel, because I always want to be positive and I cannot force myself to ever say anything negative about somebody's passion and dream, but are you doing them a service by not, I mean, I can't do it. I just say, oh, you know what? That's very interesting. Go for it. But then I feel like maybe I'm giving them the wrong information. What would you do?
Well, there are so many areas in entertainment, because if someone wants that type of an experience or journey, but they're not good at the one that they're in currently, you can always say, oh my gosh, you would make a great spokesperson, or you would make a great producer or an editor. I mean, there are endless jobs that are endless experiences in entertainment.
Right.
So the best service you could be for them is to guide them where their strength is.
Yes.
Not their weakness.
That's right. And so many people come out here and they think that they want to be an actor or director or producer, and then they start working on a project in those positions, and then they realize, oh God, no, I don't like this, I hate this job, and then they end up finding another career in entertainment that is better suited to them. So you're exactly right. So you are an advisor to celebrities and business owners and CEOs and actors and producers. First of all, how did you get to do that? And I guess I want to know, one, how do you get to be an advisor to these types of, what did you do that gave you the title of giving advice to these people?
So another serendipitous experience, I had a very bad experience in the love journey, and I found myself meeting by accident Daryl Hannah's dad. His name was I can't remember. Oh, Don Hannah. So Don Hannah, and I didn't know he was Daryl Hannah's dad. And a friend of mine took me to his dining table, and I sat there, and he said, Kimber, you know what my job is? He goes, I'm a plate spinner. And I'm like, what is that? And that's where you take the sticks and you put the plate on, and you spin it and you juggle them all. He goes, well, I'm a plate spinner. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to put you on a plate, and I want you to meet me tomorrow morning at 8:00, be dressed up. And he didn't tell me where I was going, just the address. I show up, and I'm standing in a room of 64 hybrid entrepreneurs that get 60 seconds to stand up and talk about why they are there and how they can help, what they have got, what they get and have got, and what they're going to give. And this organization is called Alliances. I'm still a member 7 years later. And so I show up, and Don Hannah gets his 60 seconds, and he stands up and he goes, well, I think the right thing to do is give my 60 seconds to Kimber. And I'm like, oh, I'm not prepared. I don't know what. So I'm an actress, right?
Yeah.
Stand up and act like you know what you're doing. So
Improv.
I stood up, and I down to the second, and I was completed, said what I was looking for. And at that time I was working on the 140 shows and was looking for funding and marketing. And the CEO of the organization Alliances asked me if I wanted to interview all of the hybrid entrepreneurs, sports players, movie stars, politicians, and that's what I do. So again,
isn't that amazing? That is such a funny story, because, okay, so I believe, it's just my personal philosophy, that if you want to eventually end up in a title that you aspire to, me coming out here, I wanted to be, I came out here to go to UCLA to be a director. Well, after the classes, I said, absolutely not. That is not for me. But what I find is that I do love the producing aspect, right? So I believe that to be a producer, and this is just me, doesn't apply to anyone else. I believe you have to start knowing all of the positions. And my particular thought process was that you start being a background actor. That when you're a background actor, you can see what everybody's doing. You can see what the director's doing, the producer and the sound people and this. So I said, that's it. I'm going to become a background actor. Well, because of my fluffiness, Kimber, all of a sudden I'm getting a ton of calls. They all want, I started this process in 2000. So at the time, there was like Jackass 2, the movie, all these movies where they wanted fluffy actresses, right? So I became a featured background actor. Well, I got cast for a movie, and most of the time you don't know who the stars are, or at least you probably could if you asked. But again, as I told you, stars, that didn't interest me. So I went to, I registered for a background agency, and they just would send you to the set, right? So I show up to the set, and who is the star of the movie? Daryl Hannah, right? Well, it just so happened that I was a huge Daryl Hannah fan, still am. I knew all of her movies. All of a sudden, you know, one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to talk to celebrities. You don't go up to them and say, oh my God, I love you and I love you. Oh no, you will be sent packing by lunchtime. You don't do that. But I had made, I guess I'm very easy to make friends with. So I had made friends with the casting person, Yvonne, and she, I guess on the break, told Daryl Hannah about how I was so obsessed with her. And the next thing you know, I got called over to sit at the dining room table. It was a diner. Yeah. God, it's been so long. I can't remember. It was a dining room, a diner. And I was sitting opposite Daryl Hannah. And I said, oh my God, I loved you. And I was like ranting about all these projects, ones that she didn't even remember she was in. Well, I said, oh, it's so nice to meet you. We left each other. Next thing you know, I get called by the assistant director who said that I was now going to be in a scene with Daryl Hannah in the movie. And I'm like, what? So you never know. And I did nothing. But that's my little Daryl Hannah story. So I still continue to be a fan. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it is. I have to go on my IMDb. But yeah, there's that lovely lady. Lovely. Oh, you know that, Kimber, I'm sure you meeting so many celebrities, they always say be careful who you meet because they can be your idol one day, but your most hated person next day. I have never had that experience. Everybody I've ever met and became friends with as a celebrity, I mean, I love them and I've never had any reason to not. Who have you met? You don't have to say the name. You could, but who have you met that was most memorable and why?
Who? How about Tammy Faye Baker?
No, I love that woman. Most people don't like her. I'm like, why? She's fantastic. I've never met her, but I think, tell us about that.
I met her on a flight. I'm a retired flight attendant. I flew 21 years for America West Airlines. So this was before my acting days, very early on. And I met Tammy Faye. I was waiting on her on the flight, and she was just fascinating. She had an energy that I could feel, and I still to this day reflect back and feel that it was such great love, such great respect. And although there was a lot of makeup going on, I saw there was. I mean, when you see it in person, because she's wearing television makeup on an airplane.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's just who she is. And that was her image. But getting past all of that stage makeup, the love was just incredible. So I've never, ever forgotten that connection, heart to heart connection without saying anything. right?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I love that you brought Tammy Faye Baker because that was unexpected. And I like that you gave me a pop surprise. I was thinking any other celebrity, but not Tammy Faye Baker. But I've watched many of the documentaries on her and her husband. And I thought, wow, what a brave, courageous woman to put up with all that and still hold her head up high. I don't know. It's just me. But I'm a Tammy Faye Baker fan. And I don't care what you say.
That's right. We don't care.
Yes. Yay, Tammy Faye Baker. Now, you are also amongst the multi-hyphenation of terms. You are a best-selling authoress. And let's talk about just two of them. Greta. Now, I love this title. Oh my God. When I read it, I said, oh, this has got to be a character on Saturday Night Live. Greta Garbage. What? Is that not a Saturday Night Live title waiting to happen? And then, oh yeah, there it is. Yay! We're trying to read backwards. We're going to put a picture of that up.
But the bitch is going down.
Oh, I love that. Great. That's great design work. Yeah.
And the book was endorsed by Mark Victor Hansen, who co-authored Chicken Soup of the Souls.
Stop it. Well, this, now, tell us about what was the motivation. Let's just start with the first book. Tell us what was the motivation for writing the book. First of all, was it self-published? Because that's a question that I got from a couple people when I announced you were going to be on the show, and I put that you were a book. They said, oh, can you ask her if her book was self-published and what the process is for that? So I guess that's the first question.
Yes, so everything I do is self.
Okay.
So yes, I was self-published. I wrote the book in 2019. Well, actually, it came out in 2019. I started to write it in 2017 because I had moved from Arizona to the big island of Hawaii, and I met my husband. When you live on an island, especially this island, there are no billboards, there's no strip clubs, there's no gambling. The town closes up at 9 o'clock at night. So there's very little to do. And after 6 months of living here, I said to my husband, I love you so much, but I don't think I can do this. And he looked at me and very calmly, he said, why don't you write a book? And I said, I've never written a book before. And he goes, well, you were never an actor before, and you were never a flight attendant before. Just do what you did then, do it now, like that. So I thought about, well, what could I write about? And I just grabbed paper and it just came pouring out of me. And halfway through the book, it's a memoir. And halfway through the book, I remembered that my mother, who was a raging alcoholic, who beat me daily, I remembered a name that she called me, and I had it stuck so deep into my DNA that it just came flooding up. Because when I was 7, my grandfather said to me, sweetheart, when you grow up, you are going to be as beautiful of an actress as Greta Garbo. And Greta Garbo was the first silent screen actress. And I'm 7, so I go running home, and I couldn't wait to tell my mother because it's the first moment of hope and daily beatings. And I ran up to her, which I never did before, and I said, Grandpa said, I'm going to be just like Greta Garbo. And my mother said, sweetheart, you will never be anything but a bitch, a Greta Garbage. And I must have shoved that hurt and pain so deep. And when I was halfway through with the book, that name popped into my head. And I was like, bingo, the title for the book. And I put the word bitch on her arm.
Yeah.
As a tattoo inside, like it's a scar, but it's invisible. But on the book, it's a powerful. So I wanted the image to be Greta Garbo-ish, and put the word bitch in there.
I love that. That was very creative. I mean, you designed the cover.
That's me on the cover. That's an
Did
image.
you not know that I'm now introducing you as a person who does graphic design?
Oh,
Book illustration. Add that to your title. Oh my God. Well, that is a very powerful story, and I am so glad that you are one of many people that did not listen to their parents for anything, any advice or any. A lot of people who do things like that, they're just, in my opinion, again, people who are very hurt by the life that they didn't get. A lot of times they wanted to be an actor or a singer or a dancer. It's like, and it didn't work out for them. So they hold such feelings of animosity towards their children. And they just vent their anger and frustration onto their children rather than just keeping. I mean, I'm all about venting your feelings, but not when it's hurting your child or hurting a child or hurting another person because of the anger that you feel. So it is amazing that you turned out the way you did, and you are a testimony of power. You know, when we're born, this is, again, this is my opinion based on my experience and what I've read, but I believe you're born with 50%. I believe there are statistics for this. I read this actually. 50% of your personality is genetic. It can come from your ancestors 100 years ago, 200, 500, but 50% of your personality it's through your DNA and your chromosomes. The other 50% comes from the environment you're raised in. So you can choose to either lean towards the 50% you were born with that's DNA and chromosomal related, or you can feed into what you're told by here. But so you are a heroine for so many people. I mean, just listening to this, people who've experienced what you've experienced are going to want to know so much more about you, because you did not let all of those negatives that she threw at you become part of you per se, but yet you use the negatives for turning yourself into the opposite of what she called you. Now, my question is she still with us, that she got to see how successful you turned out to be? Did she get to see anything? Like,
yeah, my mother drank a gallon of vodka a day. So she died at the age of 39. I was 15.
Oh.
In the process, or I'm sorry, I was 17. In the process of her passing 6 months prior to that, I had a younger brother commit suicide. My mother died 6 months later of a form of suicide by drinking a gallon a day of vodka. And then my other younger brother killed himself also. So I want the audience to know that though the book is a memoir, there's a reason why I didn't believe my mother. And there is a reason why, as you say, becoming a heroine, I don't want to tell you what it is because then you won't buy the book. But the book also has it's self-help also, because I give the reader advice and work ethics to overcome sexual abuse, drug use, suicides, dysfunctional family. It was an awful childhood. Yeah. Some people have good ones and turn out awful.
Yeah.
But but at the end of the day, no matter what happens to you in your upbringing and in that environment, when you become grown and able to make choices, you have a choice.
Yeah.
And so this book offers a lot of hope and a lot of solutions. Very little of it touches on how horrible it was, because I want the reader to have hope. Yeah. And
Yeah. But so many people use their childhood and the things that have happened to them as an excuse as to why they're not successful or why they can't do this or they can't do that, which you absolutely, did not do, at least based on what you're saying to us today and your laurels and accolades. You turned a negative into a positive, which I think you should do for anything. At least try. It may not turn, you might be, as you said, a person who the fate is written in the stars and you might not ever become what you think you want to become, but at least try. Don't use your past as an excuse. I mean, you're a testament to, look at you. I mean, I hate to say it, but I wish we could like rub your mom's face into what you became, but that's not the right thing. But I like that you got to prove her wrong, and you did it. You didn't have, and I'm sure you've had help, but ultimately you're the only person that did it. You may have had help from various people to get here, but if you had not had the self-determination and the motivation and the inspiration, there was a driving force within you, whether it was to prove her wrong or whether it was just your destiny, and no matter what you did, you were going to end up successful. That's what happened.
Well, I want people to know I had what was called an alive experience. So please read the book, because if I wouldn't have had that experience, it was during one night of her rape. She used to hide the vodka bottle under my bed. So as she was reaching under the mattress at midnight, getting her vodka, beating me half to death, on this one particular night, I was begging my Heavenly Father, please, I can't sustain this beating. I'm not going to make it. Either take her or take me right now. And I'm going to leave it there. But had the experience that I had not happened, I would not be here. I know I would not be here.
Wow. And was there anyone in your family that tried to intervene that might have been like a motivational force or gave you some source of hopefulness as a child?
Unfortunately, my father was my only savings grace, but he was working 3 jobs. He never knew his wife was a raging alcoholic, drug addict. She left him 3 different times to care for the 4 children that were left behind. Other than that, my mother kept us isolated as children because she didn't want to be found out what her habits were, that she was beating her children daily. And that was the reason why 2 of my brothers succumbed to suicide. I have an older brother who is a recovering alcoholic of 20 some years. I believe I am a miracle because I did not choose to drug or become alcoholic myself. And it is because of what happened that night during that beating. And
how old were you at that
it was
night?
7.
7. Okay. So and we're going to move on from this because I don't want painful feelings to come up, but you should really be so proud of yourself. I am in awe, and I have so many questions, but I don't want for it to become a focus of that topic for you because you have so many things you want to talk about. But it was alcoholism. Did it run in her family? And I ask that because I have had an ongoing debate with people, because some people say it's genetic, some people say it's not. I have found most people, it can go hundreds of years back. It doesn't have to be the immediate. What do you think?
So my mother was an alcoholic. Her father died at the same age of alcoholism.
Yeah.
My older brother was also drinking a gallon of vodka a day. Now, what I believe is that some genes genetically you get from your parent or the other. My father never drank alcohol. I never saw him ever take a drink. So perhaps I got the gene, my father, and so blessed for that. Oh my gosh. So
Yes.
blessed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because it is an illness, and I'm very conflicted on whether or not it's genetic or not. I do believe, but some people try to talk me out of that belief. But I do want to say that you self-published. What were the steps? Because a lot of people say, how do you do it? How do you self-publish? So could you help people figure out how you self-publish and get it on Amazon? Like, what are their criteria?
Sure. So the first thing to do before you even think about writing a book is please, please, please have a good story. That is first and foremost. Once you get your manuscript drafted, send it off to an editor, a really good editor. Save the money for the editing process. And then once it's edited, it is so easy to upload on Amazon. I am self-taught. Don't think I didn't cuss and swear and throw things and but once, because I don't have the technical brain, I have the creative brain. So anything technical, oh, just drives me crazy.
Oh, me too.
Yes, I saw earlier. No, anyway. But it's really simple. Just read. If they want help, I mentor. Right now, I'm mentoring for Arizona Foundation for Women. I love to help people because I never got the help. So if you have questions, I can answer them through an email. I can guide you to ways to get yourself self-published. But again, please make sure you have a really good story, a really, really good title, and
Yes.
really, really good
Graphic design, which you now have a new title. You're a book illustrator. Okay, so if they went to Amazon.com, there is you're saying a section where you just click it and it'll give you ABC 1, 2, 3 how you do it and get the book.
It's Kindle promotions, I believe is, yeah. It's been, I just recently in February published another book. This is a self-help book. It's called From Underdog to Top Dog, Understanding and Recognizing Your Irresistible Power, because we all have that irresistible power. And this book is wonderful to help any entrepreneur, any actor, anybody that feels like an underdog. Listen, underdogs are necessary for humanity's growth because not everybody, we don't need so many top dogs. That's why, anyway, underdogs are so necessary. If you feel you're an underdog and want to, in your own life, for your own space, become a top dog, this book is for you.
I want to be a top dog. I hear a rap song in my future for that. Now, what are you say you are a best-selling, you have best-selling books on Amazon. What are the criteria for having a best-selling book on Amazon? Obviously, it must be sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one?
Yes. Number one. Also, too, if you have a good catching title, because whoever is seeing the books as they come in, they catch the title and the graphics. They're like, "Ooh, this," and they help a little bit. But most of it is sales on the first day.
On the first day.
Yeah, on the first day of its release. Now, I do have some formulas to get that information out there. So again, please reach out to me, and I would love to give some advice and mentor someone who's.
Are you like a life coach as well? Would you say that?
Well, that's what the wow factor is about. It's about mentoring men and women to in any aspecting of their life, wherever their weaknesses. And some people don't understand that they have weakness. They think that they know. There are a lot of people I've mentored. Oh, I don't need your help. Okay, well, there is an area that you may be weak in, and I will help you see it, because right now You're telling me you don't need any help, which means you need more help than
That's your weakness. I hate to tell you. That's your weakness. You're a
Thank you.
narcissist. You're a covert narcissist. You're one of the 114 narcissists. Your current business activities, they focus, as we're talking about, on men and women, how to enhance their image by showing the wow factor. Now, I guess, how does one know what their wow factor is? Because do I have a wow factor? What's my wow factor? How can a person find their wow factor? Can you at least tell us a little bit?
Yes. Well, first of all, you do have the wow factor. It's called your personality. You are such an amazing woman. I just felt drawn to you the moment I met you. You call me Kim Kardashian, but I'm Kimber Leigh.
Yes.
But I want to share that the wow factor is more about your authentic wow. It has nothing to do with your exterior. For instance, this space right here, oops, right here, is called your eggshell, your aura. Yeah. And your eggshell aura is filled with all of your thoughts. I'm beautiful, I'm stunning, or I'm crabby, I'm fat, I'm not happy, I'm depressed. Whatever you fill your personal eggshell up with, when you walk into a room, that aura gets into the room before you do. Mm-hmm. People already have you pegged before you've even spoken a word. And so that is the wow factor. When you walk into a room and your aura is filled with amazing self-talk, you don't have to talk. People will come to you. You don't have to go to them.
Right.
That's the power right there, is having people be drawn to your energy.
Right. How does a person know, like, exactly what you said? You nailed it, because that's what everyone has always told me, that exactly what you said. It's my personality. I love to talk. I love people. I love meeting new people. I'm never intimidated by anybody. I can talk to who I have, a string physicist friend. I can talk to a person who's a janitor. I always think of questions because I'm a naturally curious person, and I think that's my wow factor, because I'm naturally curious about everything and everyone. It doesn't mean I want to get a master's degree in it. I just want to know a little bit, because I think the more you know about a lot of stuff, that's what makes you a great conversationalist. And and I love.
Well, you're naturally authentic. You, Priscilla, are naturally authentic. So your aura is already filled up with that. When I walked into the room at the Sholo Film Festival and I saw you doing all the interviews, I was like, wow, that must be really cool. I would love to do that. And as soon as I said that, Martina walked up to me and she said, Kimber, I want you to get interviewed by Priscilla. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt your energy, though. As soon as I walked in, I'm like, how do I get in her space? She is amazing. So it's because it's authentic.
Thank you. And I think what you're saying is that if you want to know what your wow factor is, because just because I have this, it doesn't mean it's the wow factor. There are people who have a wow factor. For example, most of my, I hate to put A-list on there, but just to make a difference, most of my A-list celebrity friends, what I find that we talk about and what I noticed about them as opposed to some actors, is that their wow factor for me is they have just a laser focus into what you're talking about. They're not, you know how you go to a party and you're talking to someone and the person is like looking around the room to see who the next best person is to talk to. And then they make you feel like, oh, well, I guess I'm not interesting enough to talk to you. that is the worst thing you can do, but people do it. Either one, they have ADHD or ADD, I don't know. But they're not good enough actors to cover it up. You may be at a party with someone who's boring the hell out of you, but you should never, ever show it. Be an actor and act like they're the most interesting person in the room. So what I noticed about, when I met Keanu Reeves and Johnny Depp, all these people, when they're talking to you, Kimber, you are the only person they're talking to, and they're looking in your eyes, and they have amazing powers of concentration. If they don't, you could have fooled me, because they act like I'm the most interesting person in the room. And that's what I noticed. But yet I'll run into actors, aspiring actors, producers, directors, and they cannot keep focus. And then I look 10 years later, where did they go? Who is that? What was his name? Because they did not have the wow factor, which is their wow factor, which is concentration. So it just depends what it is. My wow factor is different from, another person's wow factor.
And then there's also the bad wow factor when you're talking about your life and people go, wow, that's.
Yeah. Like, for example, yeah. Oh, give me an example. We want to know. What are these examples so you don't do them? Give my audience that.
I tend to err on the side of positive, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I give both sides with this wow factor issue, because you don't want to be in a conversation monopolizing it. That's not a wow factor. A wow factor is when you're in a conversation, focus, pay attention, and concentrate. If you can't, they're going to know it. Don't reek of desperation. I have so many A-list casting directors who, cast for huge shows. And one of the things they tell me is that there are actors who come in and they reek of desperation, and they're so narcissistic, and they just want to talk about them. Eliminate that. That's not a wow factor. That's not a wow factor. That's a bow wow factor. It's not a wow factor. So I was just, trying to give some tips to people, but, people are going to be people. People think if they talk the most about themselves that's going to impress, but it actually isn't. Let the casting directors come up to you. Let the people come to you, ask you information about yourself. If they're interested, they're interested. Now, so there you go for the wow factor. But thank you so much for those compliments. And you, because your face is so beautiful, people want to stare at you. So you personally, Kimber Leigh, are a person who you have that natural glow factor, right? So you're able to attract a person from across the room with your eyes. They're magnetizing. Your face is beautiful. Your hair, you got everything going on. So now you're going to get them to cross the room, right? Now, I'm not just talking about you, but also you. What are you going to do once they come across the room? So that's what I think would be a tip that I'd give. Be prepared, but don't be narcissistic and monopolize their time, right?
Yes, again, time is so valuable. So be conscious of the time that someone else has, because they'll never get that back. So if you recognize that first, right on. Yeah. And if they come across the room and they walk up to you, compliment them. Yes, everybody wants to feel good.
Yeah.
So give them a reason to feel good, and they will remember that about you. Right.
But don't be insincere. How many times do you go meet a person, they're like, oh my God, you look so great. Well, I live in LA. I don't live in Hawaii or authentic, but it's like, oh my God, you look so great. Don't be sincere. People know when you're lying to them. If I look like a sea hag, just don't be telling me I look great. I know I look like a sea hag. Don't tell me that. Find out, talk to me and find out something you're genuinely interested in, right?
Yes.
Now, we want to move on because I want to talk about this. You will be walking, talk about your looks. You will be walking the runway for New York Fashion Week in February, on February 9th for Crowns Magazine. And you said that you were on their magazine cover as a model a few months back. First of all, come on, New York Fashion Week. How does one even do that if they're not like are you a part-time professional model? How did this happen? I mean, obviously you got the looks, but how did it happen?
Well, I modeled a lot back in my younger years before I became an actress. I think the best thing you could do is model, because it's very difficult to be in front of a camera still. If you can do it in still, you can do it moving, motion picture. But I had a designer, Speak to Couture Designers, a friend of mine on Facebook, many, many years. And one day she reached out to me and said, Kimber, I've always wanted to work with you. I'm doing a photo shoot for a cover of a magazine, and I would like to, we don't know if we'll get on the cover, but I would love to hire you as a model. And she hired somebody else. Well, unfortunately, the other girl got the cover. But then, and again, this is serendipitous, I posted one of my favorite pictures from that photo shoot on Facebook, and the founder of the magazine saw it, and she reached out to me and she said, Kimber, I never saw that photo. And I said, oh, I don't know, because they gave it to me and they said I could post it. She said, well, I want it to be on our next cover.
Now, do we have that? Albert, can we show the cover of Crowns Magazine? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is you. Is that you?
That is me, yes.
Wow, I didn't even recognize you. You look like royalty. You look like you're, wow. Let me look at that close up. I'm looking at American Pageant. You know who you look like in this? What is that supermodel's name? Christy T. Brinkley. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's gorgeous. American Pageants, 10 new queens. The wow factor. Go forth and be fabulous, Kimber Leigh. Oh my God, that's the whole thing is all you. Wow, that is so super cool and impressive. That was August 2023. And so you're going to be walking for the runway for New York Fashion Week.
For Crowns
Magazine, which is the magazine we just saw. So tell me, how did this happen? You're going to be oh, I can't stand it. I feel like I'm going to explode with excitement. Tell me all about it. How did it happen with this one coming up?
So the founder of the magazine called me up and she asked me if I would like to walk the runway. Well, I walked one runway many, many years ago. I'm not one to say no to an experience because of passion, right?
Yeah.
I'm passionate about my life. So I said yes. Ironically, right after saying yes to her, she asked me if I had a crown. And I said, well, I'm not in pageantry. A week later, I got contacted. I saw an ad for Mrs. Hawaii Pageant USA, and I'm curious by nature about life. So I just asked them what was it about, and they looked me up on Facebook and they asked me to please enter. I'm the only one from the big island of Hawaii because this is happening on the island of Honolulu. So I am currently, and you're the first person that this has not been out there at all. I haven't posted anything publicly. So everyone's going to find out through your show.
You're representing your community on the big island of Hawaii, Mrs. Hawaii.
Yes, well, I'm actually going to be Mrs. Kamawela because I live in the community of Kamawela on the big island of Hawaii.
Okay.
So I'm going to be Mrs. Kamawela.
And what was that process? Did you have to come in and do shoots, interviews? How did that happen?
I did a phone interview. I am doing some Zoom interviews. Because of my background, they already accepted me because author, actress, yeah, the list.
The list, yeah.
I'm just thrilled. I'm a little bit nervous because at my age, to be in a pageant, and be on the cover of a magazine,
Wow. Are you kidding? Wow is all you should be thinking. You're like your third chapter. Look how you're starting it out in your life. And is this like the pageant where you do the night, the swimsuit, the evening wear? So it's just like a regular pageant.
Yes. The only thing different about it is you have to be married. Your husband walks you on stage. Your husband escorts you, and he's the one that asks all the important questions about your platform and your goals. And yeah, it's amazing.
Really? Well, I hope you butter him up before the pageant. Better be cooking him a big T-bone on
every night.
I'd be buttering him up for the pageant. Wow. Now, if you win, what do you do? Like, what's
so when you win the title of Mrs. Hawaii, then you go on to Tennessee and you are in the Mrs. USA pageant. What? That's what I said.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. And what about the talent portion? What are you going to do?
Oh,
they have a talent portion.
That I don't know, but I'm sure I'll come up with something.
Baton twirling, a plate spinner. What are we going to do? Yes. Daryl Hannah, Don Hannah. So, hey, can you teach me how to plate spin? Oh my God, congratulations. That is so cool. I love that. Please keep us abreast of that. I want to promote that. I want to promote it on all my sites. It has to be. You have to win. You have to win.
Mrs. USA pageant.
Mrs. Hawaii. Now, how can we find out? If we go to your website, will we be able to find more about this, or you haven't posted anything?
I haven't posted.
Okay.
I'm waiting. So for the runway in New York, they're going to be putting out promotional material as well as the Mrs. Hawaii pageant. So that's why I haven't said anything, but it's okay to talk about. No, it's great to talk about it.
Yeah.
In this fashion, I would prefer this rather than put a little promotional thing up there. Yeah. This is fantastic. And again, this is serendipitous moment because it's just all when you live a passionate life, you get passionate results.
That's true. Now, when you walk in the New York Fashion Week, have they already picked out your outfit? Is it a certain category?
Yes, I'm doing 2 walks, one for Crowns Magazine, and now hopefully my crown and sash will get here so I can be Mrs. Kamawela. And then I'm walking for a designer, Mitch Danush, or it's some designer who does haute couture. I think that's couture. I don't know how the proper pronunciation.
Haute couture, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be wearing one design for them. And it's going to be at the Edison Hotel in Times Square.
Wow. I got to tell my friend, I have a friend named Bernie Martin. He is an international fashion designer. He designed for the Oscars, et cetera, et cetera. So I got to tell him about you and ask him, hey, do you have anything that you could put Miss Kimber Leigh in? But so you'll have footage. Send it to me because I would love to say he's actually going to be a guest on my show maybe in February or March or April. I don't know, but I know he's booked. But yeah. I know he's going to be there at New York Fashion Week, I'm sure.
Well, I am looking for a gown to wear for the pageant. So anybody that's wants to be a sponsor for me, I'd be so blessed and so honored to have
Talk about serendipity. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I'm sure he would love the opportunity. And you're looking for, oh, this is happening. We're making deals. We're wheeling and dealing right during the interview. We'll talk. Yeah, I'm going to send me all the information you have, and I'm going to forward it to him, and I'm going to hook you two up, and then you do your thing. Yes.
Yay, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, his fashion is great too. He's a very forward fashion designer. So let's move on to your two films that debut this year. The first film is called Housebroken. I love that. What's it about? And you're in it, I imagine, but I'm not sure. You could just be a producer. So tell me about it and your roles.
Thank you. This is the one film that I get to be just an actress. I just wanted to show up. So I am co-starring with Clara Rowland. John Kestner, who you met at Sholo, is the director, writer, and producer of the film. And it's a Christmas story about a family that has a young daughter, and the grandmother bought what they thought was going to be a puppy for her for Christmas, because the family comes from Transylvania, and it turns out that it's not a puppy, it's a werewolf.
Oh my gosh, Albert, can we show the film poster for Housebroken?
It's a dark comedy.
There it is. Oh my goodness, a dark. Is that you in the green?
Yes.
Look at those beautiful breastises, as they say. I love that. Is that your husband? Supposed to be your husband and your child?
That's the co-star Clara Rowland, and Paisley is the young woman, and this was her acting debut. She did phenomenal in this movie. She's so cute.
Yeah.
And making a film with pets and kids.
Wow, that's a double joy. Thank you, Albert. I love Christmas movies, which is how I ended up being a judge and screener for the Sholo Film Festival, because Martina and Delia share my love of Christmas movies. As a matter of fact, where in the heck did I wanted to promote, I'm actually one of the producers on their next project. Oh, where is it? I can never find anything. It's called The Christmas Witch. Oh, wait. Let me tell you, Christmas Witch, and it is actually being turned into a movie. And I think we're in pre-production now. I'm not sure. I better check in and see. But it's I love Christmas movies. Do you share the love of Christmas movies? If not before doing this one, you now have a great love of Christmas movies?
I've always dreamt of being in one, and I got cast 2.5 years ago. John Kestner couldn't find anybody to make the werewolf costume the way he wanted it. So he found a very talented artist. Her name is Candace, and she did the costuming. And here we are. We shot this. This is unbelievable. We shot this in December. Now, it is a short film.
Yeah.
We shot it in December. It was edited at the end of December, and it is doing its world premiere on Saturday at the Chandler Film Festival. So in Arizona. So talk about a passionate group of people that just got this film done. I have never worked on a project that quickly before.
I love that. I don't like all that fooling around, movies dragging out for like 5 years. But I love people who can get it done fast. I love that. I love that. That's quality.
Yes, and we're hoping, this is great quality. We're hoping to screen it at the Sholo Film Festival this year. So
submit it. If it's a Christmas movie, you know it's going to be so in, I would think. My God. Yeah. So the other one is Is that the dark comedy where you were the female lead in the dark comedy short that the premiere was just this January? That's January 27th. Is that this? I don't even know what day. It's this weekend. Is that the same one you're talking about, or is the? Oh, that's the same one.
Yeah. So okay. I'm actually leaving Wednesday to go to Arizona to.
I love that. It was my first time actually go out. My husband and I, it was our first time going to Arizona, and I thought that I was going to get to visit all my friends who've moved to Arizona. One's in Phoenix, one's in Cottonwood, one's in some other place. So I was like, yeah, we're going to come see you. Oh my God, that state is so huge. We didn't get to go to see anybody the whole entire week because we were way up in the mountains. I guess it's way up in the mountains. So we didn't get to see anybody that we lived in there. So next time I'm going to have to allot a month for us to be able to do it. But it's a beautiful area. And the film festival was so exquisitely done, so organized. Martina and Dalia are extremely organized people. So that film festival ran very smoothly. I actually was getting stressed out because I didn't know how many people I was going to interview, and then I didn't even know I was in a whirlwind. It was like 52 people, and boy, she had me on a schedule, because if it was left up to me, I'd be talking to one person for 3 hours. But it was like, okay, we got it. But so, I mean, she didn't even need to say anything. I was like, oh, there she is. I better speed it up. So all of a sudden, I just started asking one question instead of my 10. But it was a great film festival. When I got to meet you, I got to meet a lot of people that I really wanted to be on the show. So hopefully that happens. I think maybe 5, but we'll see. Now, what is the second film? Is that the documentary called Together with ALS?
Yes.
What's perspective? Now, that's a very specific title. So I guess my question is, what was your inspiration or motivation for doing that? What were you, producer and actor?
I was a director, producer of it, and also the interview person for the documentary. I got a message from a woman that I knew for many years, and she reached out to me with the idea, and she was looking for someone to make the film, and I took on the project. I love to help people, and so I directed it, and we shot it in July, and it was completed in October. We have submitted to probably 20 festivals so far. And none of them have gotten back to us because they're not ready yet. So once we find out what the world premiere will be, but the woman, it's her perspective, because all of the ALS documentaries are done by people who have a lot of money.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of money, you don't want for anything. So she wanted to tell it from a perspective of a woman that is now having to be the head of the household and no money. So it was so well done. We're excited about it, and we're happy to create awareness. And the woman who hired me, Leona Hubbard, is also producer of it. She is starting a 501c3 for ALS and to create awareness. So this is still in the planning stages, and I will not know which festival accepts it until I hear from.
Did you submit it to Sholo?
I did, but as you know, that's not till August.
Yeah.
Yes, we did submit to Chandler. Unfortunately, we didn't get accepted into Chandler. It may have been too late by the time I submitted. I think they already had their documentaries in place because we just got finished editing it. So, but that's okay. We've entered it in so many other festivals, and we're just waiting to hear which one will be the world premiere.
Well, I'm excited about that. A lot of people don't know what ALS is, so I do. But can you tell us about what it is, and what do you feel? How is this documentary different? I think you said a little bit about it. Most people have a big budget. This is done from a housewife's perspective, but how is it different? Like what is going to attract us to want to watch it?
So each family member came on board with this project, and each family member shared their experience with how to deal with someone whom you love, who is dying a very slow, horrific death, because they are still the same person inside their body, but they have no use of their limbs. It's Lou Gehrig's disease, and it attacks the muscle. And eventually you can't even swallow to eat your food. Yeah. And so this particular couple were both veterans. The Veteran Association, I don't even know if I'm using the right word, but Lou Gehrig's disease, for them, when you're a veteran, it's at the top of diseases that you could get from the service. So they really take care of them. And they I'll just give you one, for instance, they gave them a mechanical eating machine that the arm goes up and feeds the person. And that piece of equipment in itself is $10,000. Just to give you an example of the struggles that someone that doesn't have the ability to care for their loved one. The loved one needs care 24/7. So you have to get them out of bed. If you're a wife and your husband's twice your size, there's ways that you can maneuver the body. And this particular film, there's one thing, a documentary, there's one thing in there that he had a DNR. And when this particular, I don't want to tell you so because you won't watch the movie.
I will.
But when this particular thing happened for them, he changed his DNR and he decided that he wants to live, even though he has no use of his body. Wow. We talk about what happens to the sex life in the marriage. We talk about the role reversal of being the head of the household. We talk about how it affects the children, the grandchildren, the brothers, the siblings. I cried through the whole thing after it was edited. Yeah. So it's very heartbreaking, but it also offers hope, and it gives people that don't have resources. Leona is offering them a way because of her 501c3 and finding equipment to donate and resources. And we're hopeful that this will shine a light on those who don't have resources for someone diagnosed with ALS.
Mm. Well, please keep us abreast about that, because that is a topic that people just either push away. They don't want to hear about it. Doesn't affect anyone in their immediate family or friends. And it's an awareness. You should be aware of as many illnesses and diseases that you can. I mean, why would you not want to know something about it? Because it doesn't affect you. People wait until a disease affects them or their family members instead of educating themselves and trying to help or contribute. So I really appreciate that.
It's definitely about education. Thank you for saying that. Yes.
I don't know why people are not interested in being more educated on anything, but what they can't be us, Kimber.
They cannot.
Now in February, very exciting, you're going to be putting the final editing touches on another documentary about the making of the short film. Now, I love this title. Why do you hear this title, people? Sand in the Crack. And the reason I like that, it goes way back into my teenage years, but that's another story. But as soon as I heard the title, I'm like, oh, I remember that night in Ocean City and Myrtle Beach. Wow, Sand in the Crack. All right, so let's see, that was the one from Charlotte Film Festival, yes. Right? Let's see. So what exactly is that about? Now, what you said was it was because it was filmed on the island. where in Hawaii, that it's very difficult to film with limited resources, and that's the reason you're making this documentary, which I found interesting. Like, what are you talking about? Is it, tell us? I can't process that. You would think Hawaii, it's got the beautiful locale. It would seem like everybody would want to be an extra, or I can't imagine why it would be a difficult process. So explain.
Okay, so I'm not on Honolulu, which has 1.2 million people. I live on the Big Island, which we have 280,000 people.
Right.
Island is 4,000 square miles. Honolulu is 750 square miles.
Right.
So everything here is spread out. There is no film community. If there is, I have not found it yet. There are no camera people. There are no editors. There's no equipment unless you have your own. There are no actors. This film, this comedy came to me from John Kessner, and the basis of it was, for a Christmas present a couple of years ago, my girlfriend sent me a pineapple doorbell ringer because I live in Hawaii. So my daughter was visiting, and I opened it up and I'm like, oh, how cool, a pineapple doorbell ringer. And my daughter said, Mother, you cannot use that doorbell ringer. I said, why? And she goes, because pineapples mean you're a swinger, and everybody that comes to your house is going to think that you're swinging. And
I heard about that latest thing going around. I didn't get that right away, but yes, I heard about that too.
And so I was sharing the story with John Kessner, who is a fabulous writer. I mean, fabulous. And after I shared it with him, I just thought it was funny. He sends me a script within an hour or two.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
So I have this script, and then a few days later, cinematographers, friends of mine, Jim and Elena Thornton from Arizona, wrote to me and said, hey, Kimber, what do you think about if Jim and I come to the Big Island and not only vacation there, but let's make a film while we're there? And I had just had the script. So serendipity again appears in my life. And when we were shooting the film, Elena was smart enough to realize that during the making of it, I was teaching the non-actors how to act. I was teaching the camera people how to use zoom in, zoom out, let the camera breathe, let the scene breathe. And all of this turned into, oh my gosh, this is a documentary. And so it was Elena Thornton's idea to produce this documentary. And I'm flying to Arizona on Wednesday, and we're finally going to edit it because it's already been shot. And it's going to teach people how to film with limited resources. Now, if I can do it on an island with absolutely nothing, you can do it on the mainland.
Wow. So how many people total do you have to make this documentary?
There were 3 of us.
See that? There's no excuse. None. You do not need a big budget to get a project done. Look at that. 3 people?
Yeah.
And how did you get and today you can shoot a project right on your phone, on your iPad. There's no excuse.
I did. Thank you for saying that, because I shot a film during COVID on my iPhone. It's called Emotionation. It has won awards all over the world. Same thing with Sand in the Crack. We shot it with my iPhone. For sound, I went in the car and shut the door and recorded the sound and laid it over the film because we had no sound person. And then I sent the film to the mainland to be edited by a gentleman named Jay Lee. And it's won Best Inspirational Film all over the world.
Wow.
So, with just a phone.
Yes. Somebody hired me. This is so funny. This was years ago. I had just gotten the new iPhone 6. That's when it first came out. And so a friend of mine, she's a professional salsa dancer. And she had a competition in not Arizona, Argentina. And she needed a presentation video. So she said, well, do you think you could do it? I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me see. So I got two of my friends who also had iPhone 6s, and it turned into a music video because somebody had an original song. Oh, it was just, so we shot it with 3 iPhones from different angles. Like I like the 3 angles, and on $50 for a music video. She submitted it they loved it. They thought it was MTV quality. So there's no excuse. If I can shoot a music video on 3 iPhones, there's no excuse. You can do it, right? And ended up winning so many awards, which she ended up winning the pageant, thank goodness. But it ended up being, she submitted it and it ended up winning awards. So I said, that is and the same year the movie came out, which got snubbed. Orange, what was it? It was the first movie that was shot with an iPhone, and it was nominated for an Oscar, but they ended up not. I can't remember the story, so I don't want to be inaccurate, but that was the inspiration for me to encourage people to shoot anything on their phones, because the technology on phones would allow you to shoot like a full film production. You just have to know how to do it.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about Sand in the Crack.
Yes, Sand in the Crack won several awards.
I love that. Yeah.
And, yeah. And we're
and it won. Do you have it? Do you have the one?
Well, I have. Yes. So this was the Sholo Award.
Oh, I love that. Isn't it?
They called it a mockumentary.
Yeah, I love mockumentaries too.
Then just in October, it won Best Comedy at the Misfit Film Festival.
Oh my God, that's the best!
Isn't that
award? I have never seen that before. How creative is that? That is darling. Where was that held? Where was that?
That was in Arizona. If you've never been to the Misfit Film Festival, I highly recommend it. It's outdoor theater. It's fabulous.
Why do you call it Misfit? Is it mostly for like people who are fit?
No, it's for films that, how do I say?
Oh, Misfit. Oh, Misfit.
Yeah, Misfit.
I thought you were saying Miss as in MISS and then fit. Like it was a beauty competition.
No. So if it doesn't get picked up by, I'm just going to say this, I believe by prestigious film festivals for whatever reason, but it's still good. They screen.
You know, I just had an epiphany. Okay. So you just caused me to add something to my tip list. If you submit to all of these prestigious film festivals and you're not chosen, why don't you start looking at film festivals like Misfit Film Festival or all the other ones that, oh my God, I love that. You just sparked. I got a spark, Kimber. It's a spark. Wow, why not? At least you could win an award. There's a chance for you to win an award, and that's a cool award. I love the look of it.
And they come in all different colors. I just happened to they chose silver for me, but they had green and fuchsia and, they're just fabulous. And they have this gigantic stage. It is so well done.
And it's in Arizona. Exclusively. In Arizona, exclusively.
Yes, it's in downtown Arizona.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Misfit. Let's promote it. Misfit Film Festival. I love that. You don't know what you're doing over here, Kimber. You really don't know all the sparks that you're causing.
Arizona has a huge film community, very large independent film community I've been part of since the year 2000. And it's It's wonderful. And they really know how to put on a festival, how to honor their filmmakers, their actresses. I just love Arizona.
I love Arizona. I've only been there one time, but I tell you, I need to go back, but not in the summer. Oh my God, I heard it's 120 in the shade. No summertime Arizona for me, but it's beautiful. I know Martina was just posting some video footage of outside of her home, and it was snow, and it was snow covered rooftops and trees, and you just want to jump in it and do snow angels. So I'm all about the wintertime Arizona. Now, I understand that you wrote a coffee table book. So first of all, what's the title? Because you didn't tell me the title. And what makes a coffee book? Wait a minute. What makes a coffee table book instead of just a regular book? That was
It's pretty big.
Wow.
It's called Ku'u Aloha,
Yeah.
Frames from the Big Island. And I took this image on the cover. So this book is all about my experience here through the eyes of photography, living on the Big Island. And
can we see a couple of pictures inside the book?
Oh, sure.
One or two. Oh, it's oh, I'm making you unpack it.
Oh, no, I have so many of them. This is just sitting on the desk, and
I want one of those. I am obsessed with coffee table books, and I would love to have an autographed one, and I'll pay for it. Send me one of those books. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
This is live television, people, live internet. Live.
If you can, how do I
do this? Oh, wow. Okay. Got your lays there. There's some trees.
Hold
Did
on.
you get any Volcanic Rock?
Yeah, oh, yes. Beautiful. Yes, I did. I have. So hold on. I got to find Mauna Kea.
Is that true that if you bring volcanic rock back from Hawaii, you'll have bad luck? I've been hearing that for my whole entire life.
Very true. Do not do it.
Why? How is that bad luck?
Because our Hawaiian goddess, Madame Pele, this is her Aina. They call the land the Aina. It's sacred. It's very healing, and it belongs to the earth. And if you take it from its natural habitat, yeah, I've seen people go through a horrible divorce. I've seen death. I've heard stories that are just horrible. In fact, the post office said that every year they get tons and tons of the lava rock returned because people don't think it's going to happen to them.
Yeah. Well, you know, a friend of mine went to Germany during the them taking the wall down in Berlin, and she brought a piece of the wall back with her. Oh my God, talk about bad luck. I cannot tell you all the things started happening to her, and this was just part of the Berlin Wall. So I don't know if I could legitimately say it was the piece of the wall that gave her bad luck, but oh my God, it started with a car accident, and then there was her breaking her toe, and then skiing accident, and then it was just nonstop. Yeah. So she did the same thing. She put it in a brown manila folder, and she just picked a random address in Germany and sent it to the address.
Oh my God.
And she was convinced that rock was causing her bad luck.
Yes.
But, gosh, but how does that differ from, say, you go and get souvenirs from places all over the world, like little things like marble or rocks from other places? How is it that's bad luck?
I just think it's sacred land. And the reason why the Big Island is sacred land, because the Big Island has the lava, is because it comes from the center of the earth. Mother Earth births herself. And she erupts from inside to the outside.
Okay.
So for you to take that, you're taking part of the earth's soul. And it's here for a healing reason.
Yeah.
The Native Hawaiians are very, very sacred people, and we should honor their They're white.
So it's just the volcanic rock. What if you took like a rock you found on, or a seashell you found
You
on
can
the
take the shells, you can take the coral, you just cannot take the lava.
Can't take the lava. Okay,
Yeah.
it is true. You heard it from Kimber.
This is some of the things inside the book. This is called the process of Ho'oponopono. It's a sacred prayer that we should all be doing right now. And but this tells you how to dig deeper into the process of, but just the basics of it is you're supposed to say to the universe, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you. Whenever you find yourself in a hot mess, and sometimes we do, I found that when I repeat that over and over for about a minute to 5 minutes, 5 minutes was the longest I've ever had to do it, the problem disappeared. The person came and offered forgiveness or said they were sorry too. It's a very powerful prayer. So some of the other things in here are what aloha means to me, the process of Ho'oponopono. I have images in here of the volcano that erupted, and Mauna Kea, which is one of the tallest mountains in the world if you count it from the ocean floor up. And there's some beautiful imagery in here of that.
Now, so is that on Amazon as well?
Yes. Yes, this is on Amazon too.
Okay, so if they just go to Amazon and type Kimber Leigh, all of your books will be on a page.
Yes, it's Kimber. My last name is Leigh, Leigh.
But how do I get that autograph one? You have to come to the Show Love Film Festival.
I'm bringing it.
Bring me the autograph book, and I'll bring you some coin. Right?
Okay, I'm going to bring this for you. Yes.
Oh yes. Oh. Now, Albert, did we have another picture that we wanted to show of Kimber?
That was the film.
There was one more film, right? Where was the? Oh yeah,
there it is.
Oh yeah, there's the artwork for Together with ALS, A Wife's Perspective. Now, are those the actual people? The picture of the actual people, I would imagine, right?
Yes, it is. The husband. Oh my gosh. Interviewing him was so incredible because he could barely speak. He was so emotional, so beautiful, and him and his wife were in it, and all of his family. He has such a great support system. It is a terminal disease. There is no cure, and it was one of the hardest projects I've ever worked on.
Oh my God!
Because
Albert, we didn't show Sand in the Crack. I want to see what that artwork is.
Yeah.
I love it. And there's all the laurels from the awards that you won. What does that say? Swinging? What does that say up in the left-hand corner? Something.
Have a swinging good time.
Sand in the Crack. I love it. Oh my gosh, that one.
It's still running the festival circuit, so.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's some fingers holding a ring. I see. I imagine that's significant. Wow. Okay, so if they go on IMDb.com to look at your projects, are you under Kimber Leigh? Because I couldn't find you on IMDb under.
Yes, Kimber. I am under there. It's two separate names, and I don't have a picture, so it's the Kimber Leigh without the picture.
Oh, we gotta get a picture. How would we not?
Sand in the Crack is on IMDb.
Get a picture on IMDb.
I know, right?
Right. Now, last but not least, we talking about Miss Fabulosity, which you are. That's what I'm going to call you, Miss Fabulosity. We want to see you in action. So now let me get back in the frame. Now we are going to look at your demo reel. So, Albert, are you queued up? We are going to take a look at Kimber Leigh, Miss Fabulosity, Miss Luscious Lilac. And we are going to see her in action. So without further ado, let's look at Kimber Leigh's demo reel. Where is it?
It's okay, sweetheart. It's only gonna be 2 weeks. You're gonna have so much fun with Grandma and Grandma. You're about 3 months and $6,000 in arrears to this institution.
God, you have ruined everything.
So you do like orange meat. You're a bad boy.
Einstein here, he gave us some bullshit story about
No,
studying
it's just a
architecture.
white lie.
Larry, I'm not saying anything.
I think you're being overdramatic.
Wow! Oh my God! Now, the two scenes that I love everything, but the two scenes that I love was when you were screaming. I don't know what that was from. Love that. And then you're on the floor with something wrapped around your neck, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that from? Those were great.
Thank you so much.
Those were my favorites. Now, what was the one with that thing wrapped? What was that?
So that was the very first film that I starred in it was between me and a vacuum cleaner. The film was called The Room, and it was about a woman who was house sitting, and the vacuum cleaner became alive. And but we didn't know that it was a vacuum cleaner. You just thought it was somebody going to attack her in her house, and it turns out to be the vacuum. So
wow, I believe it. The vacuum cleaners had enough. They don't want to vacuum shit up anymore. That's it.
And well, the title of it was called Vroom. Vroom.
Oh, that's a good title. I like that title. And I would imagine that demo reel's on your IMDb.
I don't have it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I didn't know you could put it. See,
yeah.
I know everything.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, you can put your picture on there. You put your demo reel on there. You can put anything on there. Of course, there's a paid service. It's not free. If you don't have a picture, but everybody knows that. Well, I don't know in your case if this was the reason, but most people know that if there's no picture, it's because they didn't elect to have the paid service. And I don't think it's that much. I think it's like $6 a year or something. I'm not sure what it is, but you can put your demo reel and you can put your picture on it. So
yeah,
that way we know you. If your name is John Smith, we'll know your picture from another person. So
yes, I think I chose to do that because I'm an independent filmmaker. That's one of the reasons. I mean, yeah.
We want to see you. Get your picture on there, girl. All right. So everybody, please, if you've enjoyed Kimber Leigh as much as I have enjoyed Kimber Leigh, you can go to her site and please follow. Everybody needs a little thumb. So let's give her a little thumb. Now, here is what I love about her. She has followed the plan. She has kept it consistent. She knows about marketing and branding by keeping your titles consistent. So all of her social media sites are at Kimber A. Leigh. That's KIMBERA LEIGH. That's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of them, right? And her website is Kimber, KIMBERA LEIGH as well.com. She's keeping it consistent. This girl knows about business because that's what you need to do in order to have people follow you. We can follow Kimber Leigh. I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for coming on. I learned so much. We gave you new titles. You're now a book illustrator. We gave you a new job title. We've come up with so many different tips. You've given so much advice. I enjoyed it so much. And we got to look at that thing in the background. What? I love that. Can you tell us what that is again with the lights?
Yes, it's a sensor light. At one time was thinking about doing podcasting, which I no longer have that dream, but that was so I put it up there for that, but it's great when I do interviews like this. I think it adds a little bit of
Where
flavor.
did you get it? Where did you get that?
It's called Nano Leaf.
What?
It's called Nano Leaf.
Nano Leaf. Uh-huh.
It's 2 words, and you can purchase. I think you can buy them on Amazon. You make your own. You make your own design, and it operates off your iPhone. And you can change the colors and the design. You can make the whole wall if you wanted it.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have one. Gotta have one now. Thank you so much, Kimber Leigh, for being on the show. We appreciate your time and your effort and your love. Thank you. Do you have anything you want to say before you leave?
Actually, I do. I would like to personally invite you and your husband to come to the Big Island and stay with me anytime you'd like. So please do that. And when I see you in Sholo this year, because I'm going regardless of whether I have a film or not, I'm going to be there. I would love to be in your space again.
Let's be in each other's space. Yeah, I like that. I love it. And I have so many friends that live in Hawaii. Do you know Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I don't know if he's on the Big Island. Is he on Maui? He might be. So listen, there are 8. There are 8 islands currently. 8 islands. The 9th island is Las Vegas.
Yeah, I would say that. That sounds right. But I have so many friends that live in Hawaii, and they always want me to come visit. And I said one day, because I've never been to Hawaii. So that's on my to-do list. So now that I've got free room and board, mean, how can I resist that? Albert and I are coming over.
Come on, Albert.
I'm not taking any rock, though. No rock. You can check me before we do. Thank you, Miss Kimber Leigh. And we will see you next time. At least we'll see you in Arizona, maybe Hawaii. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye.
Aloha. Thank you for having me.